this is our home. She gives us home, Mother Earth. Can you feel her heart beat?
Something to hide behind, especially when the tomatoes start flying.
As long as it's not eggs.
No. Price of eggs.
I can't remember.
They're off.
Food bill just goes up every month.
I'm not on this planet yet.
That's all right. I have I said to me out there, when you're finished, return to it.
Oh, don't do that. No, let's not. That's all right. Should we go?
Yeah, we're going to get coffee somewhere, shall we?
Carvery.
Oh, yeah.
It's peas with mint sauce. That's the only reason I like the carvery. No, that's all right. Everyone's waiting for you. I don't like to interrupt the conversations because to me, this is what a church is about. All right? It's not for us to talk at you. It's for you to talk, to form those bonds of friendship and paternity, fraternity even, not paternity. We're going down a road there that we don't want to go down. But it is about friendship. So, good morning everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for braving the storms. Just a quick note for all our friends on Facebook. We've had some electrical storms. If we have a power outage, I'm afraid we will be cut off. All right? So, it's not because Elaine's misbehaved. Again. Great delight to welcome the lovely Elaine Bevan. Thank you. We've had something quite unusual for Paul. We've had quite a few cancellations this month, but all with very good cause, all with quite serious health problems going on. As we're all aware, there are a lot of people carrying a lot of burdens. So healing out to all those people who can't be with us this month, and thank you and gratitude to all those people who have stepped in. Elaine being one of them. When she said yes, I was happy again. Thank you, Elaine. Quick reminder, please, during the service, if you could turn your phones off, that would be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, Elaine, if I could ask you for the opening blessing.
Certainly.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
It's lovely to be back with you because you're all so naughty here. So I feel very much at home.
Good.
But it's always wonderful because the joy in this church is palpable. And that's what it should be, because we're coming together to celebrate that wonderful knowledge that we can't die. And those we love don't die. They move ahead of us, but we'll catch them up at some point in the future. So can we come together, hearts and minds now, and invite in that wonderful presence, that infinite intelligence, that divine knowledge that we choose to call God. As we are together this morning, you know our thoughts for those who have left us and moved into their new life. And you know that despite us wishing them well, we miss their physical presence. So for a short time, let us once more become aware of their affection, their tenderness, and their protection. In this time that we are together, we send out our thoughts to those in need, not just for physical healing, but for the mental and spiritual healing this world needs in such great state at the moment. There are those who choose to go a path of ego. They do not understand that we are driven by the need to be within the God force. that the God particle in each one of us cries out for that upliftment, that enlightenment, so that we may share it with all those we meet. We are thankful that there are many places, many centres that we can come together with like minds, but we also understand there is still so much work to do out in our world. And so this must be a knowledge that we do not hang on to and secretly keep to ourselves. It must be a knowledge that we put out into the community to raise the vibration of all those out there, to remind them once more that we are all spirit, we are all connected, and because of that connection, we are able to create a world that is wonderful for all, not just ourselves. And now, dear friend, we invite all our loved ones to step forward, all your ministering angels, all your angels with wisdom, with understanding, with knowledge, to blend with the energy in this church today and give each of us that chance to see a little bit clearer along the path. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elaine. Beautiful. And now, if you care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And we now bring our thoughts, our heart, our very intent. For intent is so strong. Intent is the purpose on which we build our actions, our thoughts, our direction. So working with that power of intent from each and every one of us today, realizing that we are the healers. We are the ones that will send out that love. We are the ones that will bring those loved ones to mind. Not someone else doing it for us, but coming from our heart. So during this time of healing, we invite you to send out that love to wherever or whoever you are drawn to. And if there is anybody you know who is in need of that particular mention, simply raise your hand. When I point to you, just call out their name. Again, the power of intent and intention works so strongly. So we invite you now to this time of meditation, of relaxation, but above all, of healing. Thank you. slowly. Infinite and divine Spirit, God of our own understanding, we thank you for this time and reminder that we are healers one and all, that each and every one of us is imbued with that ability to bring about compassion and healing wherever we are in this world. Amen. Now I'd like to invite Elaine for your reading, followed by your address.
Oh, okay. I was getting ready to sing.
Well, you can sing. You can sing your reading. That would be different. We haven't done that for a while.
Oh, good morning again. Now, I'm a bit of a rebel, you might have guessed.
No.
And for a long time I've been moving into very modern metaphysical philosophy until about 2 months back, and Spirit suddenly stopped me and made me pick up Red Cloud Speaks. Now, Red Cloud was the trance guide of Estelle Roberts back in the 30s, and he was one of the guides that I found quite intriguing because he talks outside the narrow focus of religion. And so today I've been asked to look at a chapter entitled Conception of God and share some thoughts with you. Now, first let us take the word God. What does it mean? It is simply and solely an abbreviation of the word good. The word holy means whole. These two words in their true conception have a totally different meaning to us than they have to you. There is another word used in the language of the Bible. When you hear the Lord spoke, that is only another word for law, meaning the good of the law in the perfection of the whole. I know how difficult it is for you to accept God as a great infinite thought, mind, or spirit. Yet you have been taught God is spirit, not a spirit. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. God, or good, is the perfection of mind or consciousness. That perfected being is in you and me and in every spirit that breathes. When you are taught that the kingdom of heaven is within you, that is true. You will not go to some place in the universe to find God. That permeating influence is in your midst. The kingdom of heaven is yours at any time that you choose to adjust your consciousness to it. I do not say that whilst in your world you can become perfect, because you are still in an imperfect world, dealing with the confused thoughts of men and women who see through a glass darkly, and who may stay 80 years and 10 in that imperfect state. Never believe that you are going to meet some great soul upon a throne at any time. As you progress, the thought within your consciousness tells you how to differentiate, even as it does not now, between good and evil. You know today the difference between right and wrong, and you know instinctively when error is in your midst. Then you must also know that God is in your midst, because you realize that there is something better. Instinctively, every man, woman, and child knows right from wrong. Therefore, if you know that error exists, you must also know that good exists, and vice versa. You cannot have the realization of one without the realization of the other. It is no use if you say, I have no free will. That is the one blessing that the law has given to all of us. The free will to think for ourselves, to work out our own salvation. If you are going to be governed by some personal being, some great and mighty one, what do you think you have to live for? Have I not always taught, do not believe me, think it out for yourselves? I do not ask you to agree with me, but I do ask you to come and let us reason together. All through the ages, the great thinkers have reasoned together. Today, men and women are desirous of learning the truth, and they must realize fully that the first great cause of all life is mind consciousness. Nothing exists for you unless you know it is good or bad. You are conscious of both error and perfection, and you must refuse to live in the thoughts of your fellow men, but strike out for yourselves individually and mark out your own salvation. Sorry, they're stopping me. I'd like us to suspend our current understanding of any belief system, any God, whatever it's called, and for a moment consider the picture that Red Cloud is putting before us. An infinite intelligence, yep, we can accept that. That's pretty easy. A universal consciousness. Well, if you've never got past high school science, that gets a little bit more difficult. Because how can consciousness exist if there's no brain or mind for it to be in? So we have to look at it and think, what is a universal consciousness? Now, we do understand that today, science and faith systems, I won't use religion, it's too narrow, but faith systems are moving closer together in their understanding of a universal consciousness. Not just in people, plants, materials, but in the very essence of this world, of the multiverse, of the stars and planets. They are accepting that the thought energy created by humans is able to change the structure and the reaction of things even as small as atoms and protons and things much smaller than that. We know that whatever thought energy is, and we may not see it, but we accept, we can feel it. It will change things. We can send positive thoughts and see the result in people we are concerned for. We can send anger and negative thoughts and watch others stumble in their life path, saying it's not my fault, nothing to do with me. And yet, we accept we are co-creators with the God force, because whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there is hidden well within this physical body we call ourselves a tiny aspect of the God particle. And that's there in order for the soul, where it's contained, to learn in life after life all aspects of humanity, good and bad. And I've got to be honest with you guys, I think we've slipped into a bit of a bad phase of late. Not just from the traumas we're seeing globally, but think about fear. Every time we hear of a new disaster in the news, on the television, or we read these Facebook disinformations, the first feeling is, oh my God, I wonder how that will affect us. Now, how many of you here today have realised our emergency alarm is going off at 3 o'clock? Good. Why?
Yeah.
Because the politics of the country we are in is preparing itself for the possibility of warfare. And that's scary. I was telling Laurie that both sides of my family, going back, my ancestors were military men. all the way back to wearing kilts in the 1100s, because my family, both sides, are Scottish. But I never thought in my lifetime there might be a possibility of young men and women possibly being called forward yet again. We've lived through quite a few peaceful decades, even to the point of healing very different cultures so that we could understand the other person's point of view, even if we didn't agree with it. But we've seen a sudden slide. And I don't know about you, but the God particle in me is getting just a little bit anxious. It wants more done positively. It wants more healing, more enlightenment, more understanding. And unfortunately, some of the times, the words we use generate more negativity than positivity. Think back to childhood. How many times have we heard, "Oh, you naughty girl, you naughty boy, don't do that"? Now, we know they were meant to protect the youngster, to stop them doing something harmful. But that energy is a wave that goes out into the multiverse, far beyond our understanding. Think about it at the moment. How many families in how many countries are living fearfully? Sometimes even feeling they have been left by the faith they believe in, ignored, that their voices aren't being heard even by people managing their own countries and cultures. And are we any different? We're not, are we? Our dear friend, as you know, serves to bring attention to some wrongs in particular areas. But you know, we have that opportunity to do it every single second of every day in our lives, individually and collectively. I don't want to see any war. We cause enough trauma to ourselves by how we live anyway. We listen to tales of how addictions have got out of control. Do you know, the sad thing is, no one chooses to come into this life to be an addict. The soul comes into this life and says, okay, we're going to have some real challenges this time. You're going to lose your family, lose your job, lose your home. You're going to be cast out on the street. You're going to be reviled by those that were once your friends. And they then have free will to make a choice. And sometimes that soul is so beaten down by all that's happened to it, it doesn't see a way out of the situation. Sometimes they are like lost children. Sometimes they are so full of anger and vitriol, they have to lash out somewhere. And most of the time it's at themselves and their circumstances. Yes, that soul could choose to go a different path. But when we think about the pain they are experiencing, we've all made unwise choices. And we've hoped that somehow we'll get through them. We'll move out of that situation. And usually by the sheer determination of our soul, we work through it. Look at our faith. This is not a faith about loss. This is a faith that celebrates an eternal existence. Not just for the special few, but for every soul. Not just for those that choose to think about spiritualism, the title. The important part of that word is spirit. Every soul, every spirit has that choice eternally. Again and again, recreating lessons that show us what humanity is capable of. Do you know, I think the love that we celebrate in families, and I mean happy families, not those that are dysfunctional or in pain, that love is what we need collectively to be sending out. I love my kids to bits, even though my daughter's the most untidy madam I've ever met in my life, just like her father. And my son's like me, lots of OCD tendencies, so nothing can be out of place. But I see in them the essence of the future. And I know if I can share with them an understanding of their responsibility to the collective consciousness, maybe, just maybe, will make a difference in their lifetime. But we need to ask ourselves, when we ascend to that other dimension, there won't be a lovely old chap on a throne saying, well, how did you do? I'll give you 9 out of 10. There will be our soul looking at every thought, every word, every deed and action we have expended in this life. And we'll be saying, I could have tried harder. I could have spoken out more openly. I could have reached out to help those in need. Those chances come one at a time. So if we miss one opportunity to be positively creating good for this world, let's make jolly sure the next time an opportunity comes along, we grab it with both hands and we wholeheartedly send out that healing, that love, and that positive energy, because all our futures are at stake. Thank you, friends.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elaine. Don't need to look like that. It was well said and well needed.
But it's upstairs that do the work.
Exactly. You're the mouthpiece.
Oh, I'm certainly
I
there.
say that in a loving way. So we now move on to our piece of music today, during which time Paul will be taking the collection for the further work of this your church.
Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, owning to the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. All thy works rejoice around thee, earth and heaven reflect thy rays.
channels.
Sounded like both.
So, we now move on to that part of the service. Please, 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 just remember, spiritualism is not defined by the evidential mediumship. It's not the be-all, it's not the end-all. The messages that you receive are through the philosophy, through the choice of song, through the prayer, through your own thoughts as you sit here imbued within the energy within the church. But we do have the evidential mediumship, which is our chance to offer exactly that word, evidence. I always say, do you know what, I don't think we're ever going to get concrete, solid proof, hard, examinable proof of survival. Because I believe, sadly, if this was a thing, that no matter how many times it was examined, no matter how many scientists looked at it, it always came to the same conclusion that we live on, that's going to take the value away from life. Because the true value is life. And the evidential mediumship supports that fact. It's not about death. Yes, we have the ability to communicate with those who have gone before. But they're here to say, enjoy life. Because this life is for the living. This life is where you can make change. This life is where the progress is. So, on that very sombre note, if somebody's hanging around today, it's exciting, isn't it? Before I hand over to the wonderful Elaine, again, we need to be part of that communication, do we not?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Because it's a joyful thing, as the hymn said, isn't it?
It is.
It is indeed. Please resist the urge to try and backfill the information, all right? Because from the medium's point of view, we're trying to complete a story here, yet we may not be aware of all the facets of it. And we're there going, oh yes, that's right, because she did so-and-so. Please try and resist that, all right? It's very natural. I've done it myself many a time, and I keep sitting there going, Lawrence, what do you tell everybody every week? Please try and resist that. Embrace the communication. Embrace it because that loved one is here. All right? They are here. Understand that. And think of the joy, think of the upliftment that you will get through that presence. But we do have just another formality that I would like you to observe, and you all know what's coming, don't you? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. What do you mean not sure? Who said that? If Elaine should come to you, the voice vibration is very strong. It's very pertinent to that communication. You know, imagine at home, sat there on the phone going, how far are you going to get? Nowhere. All right? The loved ones, the mediums, and never forget, your message may be evidence to somebody else sat in the church. So be a part of that process. So it's a nice clear,
Yes.
Yes.
No. Maybe.
thank you. We've got time left. I've rambled on. Somebody wants to talk today, so we'll save that.
No, it's funny because Lawrence and I have mutual friends now in the States, and I was fortunate enough to spend 3 weeks working for them this year. And the sheer exuberance of American spiritualist groups is phenomenal. Reminds me very much of, you know, those down in the south of America that sing gospel songs and all that. And they're up there waving their arms around and dancing. And look at us. Sometimes we're too tired to get out of our own way. Can I come to the lady in the orange jerkin, please? May I speak to you?
Yes,
Thank you. There's a lady stood on mother's side of the family, and she was saying to me, you're a chip off the old block, and I feel she's talking about your mindset. Would you understand a mother that you are quite like in terms of mindset, please?
I would accept that.
Thank you. All right. Because this lady, I want to say, you don't take many prisoners, do you?
That's true.
because she said she didn't take any, but you're just a little bit softer than her, and that you will give them the benefit of the doubt at least once. But I know as she says that, she's saying that with great affection and with a certain amount of humour, and she tells me the two of you do share similar senses of humour, and in fact it's the more silly it is, you know, the old slipping on banana stuff and, you know, the two Ronnies and all that nonsense, the more the two of you like it, because you're not laughing at people, you're laughing at situations. Do you understand that? And as she's bringing that energy in, she's saying to me, if I go back 5 years, you've really had to do a rethink of a lot in your life, haven't you?
That's true.
And she said, and so many of your family in the spirit world were desperate to make sure you made the choices you subsequently made. And it wasn't that you didn't care about anything or anyone. Thank you. She just said to me, you never believed you had anything to offer, did you?
No, that's true.
And she said, how wrong you were. Because she said, look at you now. She said, you almost turn up for everything and anything. Because she said, you understand that you might just be that one voice, that one touch that'll make a difference to someone. She's bringing in a gentleman with him, and I'd say he's probably about 5'9". He's not overly tall, and he's what I call square set. He's not big and muscly, but he's got a nice set to his shoulders. I feel his age, probably as he presents himself to me, would have been late 60s. He's not infirm, but there is a slight vulnerability I sense in his energy field. I know that this is a man who was a few words. He wasn't a chatty man. He didn't have lots of conversation with all and sundry. But when he spoke to you, his words really came from the heart. Do you understand a gentleman like this, please?
I'll have to have a think about it.
Okay, I feel I want to look over on your father's side of the family for him. I'm not picking up a dad vibration more. It's more like on dad's relative side, so like an uncle or an older cousin. Okay, good, you've got him. That's great. Because he just went, I'll wait. But he just came in because, as I say, he was a man of few words but deep thoughts. Do you understand that? And he's showing me that your spiritual path, you went from being very earth-based in your understanding, but it was gradually climbing until you felt so connected, not just with the spirit world, but with the world at large. Do you understand this? And it's almost like you want to get hold of people and shake them and say, how can you not be affected by what's happening? How can you not sense it? Because if we open our hearts and minds, we have no choice but to sense it. Do you understand? Thank you. And he's laughing. He said, that doesn't make you a holy Joe. That's not what it's about. It's about translating what we are meant to be doing into practical assistance. Thank you. I can see that. Do you remember the old, I'm trying to think what they were called, what I call little bubble cars, were they A somethings, little bubble cars. Do you remember going back when they'd have a big thing in the dashboard for left and right? What were they called?
There was several. There was a German message.
No. It's one we saw in England in the 50s.
Little blue car.
And it's not blue, it's yellow actually. But it's the huge, in the front, because my teacher had one and she used to take me home from school. There was a big dial that you clicked to the left if you were going to indicate left, and you clicked to the right, yeah. And they were literally like a bubble. They were small cars. And this gentleman's bringing that into my consciousness as if so it's taking me way back for a memory where I feel where you were growing up, someone would have had one of these little bubble cars. And it wasn't as if there was a lot of cars around in those days. Now I'm saying to him, why is that so important? Thank you. Well, he just brought in my son's car, which is a top-of-the-range BMW Super. And he's saying that little A40 or whatever it was called is as good as that BMW. And he's talking symbolically about how we put energy into life. It may be a little, because that's all we've got to spare, or we may be going 5th gear in super unleaded petrol. Doesn't matter. We give what we can, and you have to understand that. Don't beat yourself up when you can't do more, all right? God bless you. Thank you for working with me. Can I come to the gentleman in the grey shirt, please, sir? Yes. I'm very aware of both a lady and a gentleman stood behind you, so I know they come as a pair. So I feel I've got parents. And I want to say, when I look at the top half of your face, you're very much like your father. Would you understand that? He just laughed. He said perhaps a little bit more hair than he had. So I feel he had a receding hairline. As your mother comes in, do you know, I want to say she was a pretty and gracious lady. Would you understand that? There's a sensitivity about her soul as she comes in. And I feel she tried her hardest throughout her life to see the good in everyone. Do you understand? And I know that sets you on a particular path in life, I have to say, because she's saying to me, even at about 11, 12, you'd argue with yourself if you thought badly of someone. You'd try to find a reason why that person who'd annoyed you or upset you might be slipping off the track. Do you understand? So she said you had an adult conscience before you were an adult. I know your father finds that amusing. He says only a mother would think like that. Because your father, I want to say, very practical man, very pragmatic, you know, if whatever it was hit the fan, then so be it, he said. So be it, just get on with life. Whereas your mother would try to find a reasonable answer for someone's mistakes. And for some reason, she just mentioned the Lake District to me. I have no idea. Where's the Lake District, guys? I know it's that country a bit. It's not as far as the Midlands, though, is it? Oh, it's higher. Would you understand some sort of connection in the Lake District, please? Well, I'm not going to take it away because she was quite clear. She said Lake District. I've never been there. So that's your homework. You've got to think about that when you go home. And it may not be family. This may just be social connection or someone who had spent some time in the Lake District. And I'm asking her why it's important to bring that back into your consciousness. She tells me that water is a very soothing energy for you, that you can sit beside a lake or a sea or a river, and it's almost like as the water flows, so whatever's bothering you flows out of your soul. And I know it's a healing energy, and as she talks about that, you also practice that sort of symbology in healing yourself, don't you? You do. You don't try, you succeed because you actually have a go at it. And she's saying that it's made you take to heart how great the need is for even quite basic healing in other people. Doesn't thank you. She said we don't have to don mysterious robes and wave around magic sticks and that. We just have to have intention. Do you understand? And I know that in your own way you have, I almost want to say a list of those who need your intention in a prayerful way, please, sir. Now, she's still on about water. Have you ever had, I don't know what you call it, I bought my mother one once. It's one of these water features where it trickles down different levels. Have you ever had that at all? I almost want to say, have you passed a spirit? You know, we've moved on a bit. All right. I almost feel she wants you to buy yourself a small water feature because it's the tinkling sound of water trickling down for a meditative purpose. Do you understand that? So if you find a nice one that's not too expensive, please treat yourself. Thank you. She shouted out Wednesday to me. What were you doing on Wednesday this week, please? He's a man, he won't remember.
Right.
Women do, men don't. There's something about Wednesday she's trying to draw your attention to. All right, I hear you. She just said you were speaking to someone and you reached out and you touched them emotionally. So someone you met on Wednesday has benefited from the words you spoke to them. So I'll let you think about that too, because she's saying to me, and it won't be the last time, okay? So God bless you, sir. Thank you very much for working with me. Can I come to you two ladies, please? I've got a lady killing herself laughing behind me because she said, not two peas in the pod. You know the three monkeys? Yeah. She said they've just got one who hasn't turned up today. So, you know, is that, do you understand that? Yeah. Okay, all right, come in, darling. Oh, she was a character, this lady. I can't see her yet. I can just sense her energy. I think she's a little bit taller than me, but she's not tall because I'm only 4'9" without my shoes. So maybe she made 5'2", 5'3". Very robust energy. This lady, in her heyday, I felt you couldn't tire her out if you tried. She would just find another 5 minutes, another breath, another bit of energy. And I know, looking at the two of you, there has to be a blood and familial connection here. Do you understand that? Okay, well, don't tell me, please.
Sorry.
Why do you think all mediums are overweight? Because you keep feeding us. Right, okay.
So sorry.
That's okay. It's meant to be I know, but it's meant to be joyous. It's
Yeah.
meant to be joyous. I'd have liked it if I said to you, she reminds me very much of East End mothers. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, definitely.
Salt of the earth, quick
Yeah.
clip round the ear roll if you got out of,
Oh, yeah.
if you didn't get out of her way fast enough. And she's even got an old-fashioned wooden rolling pin, and she's
Oh.
saying, and I could throw this a heck of a distance. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Thank you. I have to say sometimes her language was a little bit fruity.
Yes.
All right. She's not going to swear here. She's being very good because she just went, I won't let it come out.
No.
But I think there were times she'd almost hide herself in the pantry and have a damn good swear. Can I say it that way? Or somewhere where you wouldn't see her or hear her, because she was determined you wouldn't let the side down growing up. No, oh no, she's what I call an
No.
old-fashioned lady. Old-fashioned lady. And I know that, can I say to you, life wasn't overly kind to her growing up. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And by that, I don't just mean the financial hardship, but there were physical hardships in her family too, please. And I know she's showing me young men who didn't come home.
Yeah.
And she's saying, of course, we weren't allowed to grieve in those days. It was stiff upper lip and just get on with it. Do you understand? She said, mind you, she said, now I know you don't have to grieve because you get to the other side and we all have a party again.
Yeah.
And she liked her celebrations. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Because I can hear someone playing an old upright piano in the background. You know, that you'd find in some parlours. People would be tinkling away the old songs. But, you know, this lady had such a big heart. Because although I feel the family was quite big as well, but it didn't matter if there was an extra one at the table. Do you understand? Because if she knew that Mrs. Smith down the road couldn't feed her 6th or 7th child, it was, get Peter to come in here. Do you understand? Yeah. And it may be a bit less on the plate for you lot,
Yeah.
but that didn't matter, did it? Thank you, because she just said the greatest gift you gave her as children was your pride in her. She loved that, because she said, you know, I may not have had the best clothes, I may not have had my hair done every week, I may not have had the best shoes and handbag, and that was important to her. She would like matching shoes and handbag. She said, but to know that you two loved me so much, she said, was really important to me.
Children are beautiful.
Yeah. She just said, Harry's shouting, so there must be a Harry she'd have known, please. I feel it's her generation, so you might have to think about it. And she said, there was a Herbert, but we always called him Bert because he didn't like the name. So I know that she does remind me so much, as I say, of East End London type families. Very, very connected to each other, very protective of each other. Yes, I do see that. And she just came to you and she said, if you don't sort yourself out health-wise, she said, I'll sort you out, all right? Yes, I know, but she's saying, if you think I don't know what goes on, you couldn't be further from the truth. She said, you used to tell me to shut up when I got too lippy on the earth plane. She said, you can't do that anymore. They're tears of joy because she loves you both. And she's just said to you, thank you. Because she said, she may be the bigger sister, but you behave like the bigger sister.
I do.
Yeah. So I know she's April. All right, Sunny, she threw the month of April as having a memory connection, please. So you may think family, birthdays, passings, anniversaries. Don't worry about it. But when they throw information out, it makes us to go away and think about things. And she said, your thoughts turn quite often to a gentleman in the spirit world, don't they? Don't cry. She said, you have nothing to cry about. She said, do you think he doesn't dog your footsteps even now? Yeah. And she said he wasn't the tidiest of men. She said sometimes you had to remind him where things belonged. Do you understand?
Yes.
But she said he would always give you a little mischievous look when you did that. And she said, as if he was a naughty schoolboy. Do you understand?
Exactly, yes.
But she said he loved you with all of his heart.
Yeah.
And that's not changed at all. Thank you. Because she said, if you could see the group of us standing here on the other side, she said they all want to get through and have a word. She said, and we know there's queue too long. We can't take up all the time. She said, but every time you think of us, we connect with you.
Yeah.
Every time your thoughts go up about, I wish Mum was here to tell her, or I wish Fred was here, or Herbert, or whoever, She said, you are connecting to us straight away. Thank you. She said, you have your own heavenly telephone line, all right? So don't ever doubt it. And God bless you both. Thank you for being with me. Can I come to the gentleman who just wiped his eyes? May I speak to you? Thank you. I have a lady who feels like a grandmother because she's of that generation where they were rather proud and upright and well corseted.
Yeah.
And I feel I want to go up mother's side of the family for her.
Okay.
All right. And I'm not being rude when I say well corseted. How these women stayed upright all the time amazes me. And she was upright both in her thinking, in her lifestyle, and very much in the things she said. She was very proper. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Thank you. She's laughing at me. She said I was as pedantic as you, Elaine, but that's not true. Well, yes, it's true, actually. Thank you. As she comes in, she was talking to me about the choices you have made spiritually in the last 3 years. Do you understand?
Yes.
And she said, thank God he woke up, she said, because we got a little bit fed up of shaking him and saying, are you paying attention? So I know thoughts had been there prior to the 3-year period, but you were never quite sure which direction you were going. Do you understand this?
Right.
And she said 3 years ago, we thought, if we don't kick him now, he ain't going to get it all done before he dies. So I know you made choices then about your spiritual pathway. I know you do a lot of reading, a lot of note-taking about ideas and concepts that catch your mind. I know you're very good at speaking, isn't he? It's all right, he's being visited by spirit at the moment.
No.
Yes, I warned him before we finished they would get him.
I thought you were waiting for the wife to answer that one. Oh, there you go.
No,
Yes.
but you're very good at speaking, and thank you. As this lady comes in, if she'd had a career and she didn't, she'd have been a wonderful orator. Do you understand that? And you have got her genes, you've got her genetic DNA. And I know that she's saying to you, there's a gap on any platform for another speaker. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Not because, see, he uses the word address. I can't stand that. I can't address anybody at 4'9" because I can't look up at them. It's about sharing. It's about exhilarating people that, you know, this is not the end. There is so much more to learn. And I'm not just talking about what Red Cloud said. You know, we're just scraping the edges of our consciousness and awareness. And thank you, love. She said we have so much more power than we accept and understand. Do you realise?
Yes.
Okay, so I have to say to you, you're on a very short time scale now. So if you're not prepared and you're not sitting in a group and you're not developing, you have got to get your act together. And thank you, yes, and she's laughing now. She's saying she's not being sexist in any way, but we need more men on a platform that will speak frankly and sensitively.
Yes.
Because historically there would be more men than women, and we've really shifted it within this movement very much to feminine energy, and we've got to get the masculine in it. Thank you. She said we've got to show them it's not soft to care about the future of the world.
Yeah.
Thank you, I can see that. She's talking to me about a connection. Someone who's in the spirit world was in the army, definitely the army,
Okay.
and I know they were injured because she was showing me a wound. So if you don't know, would you please do some digging? Because the best sort of evidence is that you have to go and look for. But I know I'm going to Second World War for this connection. Okay, all right. But there was an injury involved, don't forget that.
Yeah.
And she's just showing me, because after the war they get little bands of colour, I don't know what they call them. They're not medals as such, but it's like ribbon. Yeah, so I know it was because of the injury. And she's just taking me into your physical life at the moment. She just looked at the young lady next door, who I know you haven't borrowed. And she said she also needs to be supported in her path, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Because sometimes we can get very focused on what we need to do and what we wish to do, but we must give the same respect to her pathway too. And I know I can see the energies connecting around her. Very different guiding influences for you, sweetheart. His are quite dynamic, quite direct. Yours are very gentle, very sensitive, very healing in their vibration. And I know that the two of you will be working, not necessarily together, but in tandem. Can I put it that way? In tandem.
Totally.
So the spirit world are already gathering the energy around you. So you won't escape. I'm not
No, we're
worried.
not.
And he's always looking for a weekend off.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to call me to time, but I need to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, Spirit have been trying to take him over most of this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he's working tonight for another church
Yes, in America.
in America. He's not going to America, by the way. But he hasn't quite managed translocation yet, have you?
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
But I know Spirit want to say something, so that thought that you had just now, you need to share.
Yeah.
Go.
What, now?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was for tonight.
Yeah, but you share it with your own first. This is your family. So I'm going to shut up and let him give it the last word.
Just started off with the thought, the price of peace is eternal vigilance. And the thoughts were coming in of how we take things for granted now. How we don't invest, how we don't see the value in ourselves, how we don't understand our own dynamics. How we don't see that when we settle for less, when we halve everything that we take, we cannot be that whole once more. All through history we've seen civilizations rise and fall because everything was left to others. Everything was somebody else's job. Everything was somebody else's duty. And everything there was somebody else to save us. But the eternal message is the wholeness, the oneness, the prevalence throughout the world that each and every one of us are connected, and together we make the whole. But at these times where fracture, where division plays such a great part, we look now for that saving figure. But as this one says, that face is to be found within the mirror. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm doubting myself.
Stop it.
I'm talking and in my head I'm going, what are you saying? What are you doing? Anyway, pack it in. Anyway,
Thank you.
have we finished?
Yes. yes,
You're
yes.
not got another surprise for
No,
me?
no, I'll shut
Oh,
up
wonderful.
now.
Okay, well, that'd be a first. Elaine, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Few notices. On Tuesday evening, we see the return after the summer break for the Gong Baths with Scania Price. That commences at 7 p.m. sharp. The doors will be closed once 7 o'clock comes along. You can book either online or pay within the church if you wish to experience that. Next Saturday we have a one-day self-development group with Ashley Oliver. Now you've heard me banging on recently online and in churches about the important, in fact this is bearing out what we were just talking about, oh, you're clever buggers.
And that's on tape now.
Yeah, all right. Not as bad as yours. The importance of developing self. You know, mediumship, healing, philosophy, all these things are wonderful, but they're just a skill set. They don't define you. And for many years within spiritualism, the emphasis has been on the skill set, not the practitioner. So working in and through that energy, we have a wonderful day with the Reverend Ashley Oliver, who will be exploring, is entitled The Path to the Mystic, but it's going to be exploring your path, what you feel, what you resonate. It's not about giving messages, it's not about giving healing, it's not about standing on a podium, it's exploring yourself. So we've already got quite a good interest in that, which is wonderful to see, because truly and realistically in this world, what's the one thing that we can depend upon? The only one thing.
The self.
Correct. Yeah. So it's time to really, it's a new undiscovered country to many, and it's time we started again on that route. So that's this Saturday. and that's between 10 and 4, and there is a cost of £30. We will be supplying teas and coffees, but if you brought your own lunch, you need to bring that with you. In the past, we have been supplying food on the courses. As we all know, everybody who shops every week, food prices have gone up and up. So we had two choices of increase the price of the workshops and maybe make them more unobtainable for people, or reduce the price of the workshops and let you bring your own food. So we're exploring that avenue. So that's this Saturday, 10 till 4. Next Sunday, you've got a really dodgy bloke on. Got me. Exciting. Me. So I have the honour to take next Sunday's service here. Then on Monday the 15th of September, we have a trance healing workshop with Claudia Widmer, who's coming over from Switzerland to spend a few days with us. This wasn't a planned event. Claudia said, well, I'll come over to England, so we went, oh, okay, let's go for it. Wonderful lady. So on Monday the 15th, there's an opportunity to investigate trance healing, so it's altered states working in the healing field. That is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. No, it isn't. That's 10 till 4, and there is a cost again of £30. The next day, between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m., Claudia will be here taking appointments for trance healing sessions. These will be an hour long, so obviously there's only going to be 4 sessions there, and they are by donation. So that's next week. And looking forward in the month, we have on Wednesday the 17th, we have our mediumship development evening with aspiring mediums. Don't we, darling? Yeah. There is a thing we do in spiritualist churches we call open platform, and you open the platforms up to all and sundry. We've had some quite negative experiences with that, I'll be perfectly honest. When I hear the line of, oh, I've never sat to develop because I'm a natural medium, I just think, oh God, here we go. So we are, because we've got such a good educational founding here in the church, all those people who have experienced our workshops, our courses on mediumships, get the invitation to come up and keep putting that stuff into practice. So it will be a wonderful night, won't it? It will. It will be amazing. But of course, we need people here to receive those messages and to listen to the philosophy shared. That's an evening. It will be by donation. There's no set fee. So come along Wednesday the 17th. 7 p.m. Shut up, Lawrence. That's the end of the notices. Darling. Yes, please. You know I'm going to. I'm really not here at the moment. We have the opening blessing from you, please.
Opening, all right. We'll start.
No, closing.
Start again, yes.
Before I do
Wait.
that, the young man there, will you come and see me afterwards, sweetheart? You. Yes, because there was a message that I couldn't get through in time, so will you come talk to me? Thank you very much. Sorry.
We'll be a tenor.
No, it won't.
Joking.
No,
Joking.
it won't.
It's not.
The one thing I've learned is if Spirit want to reach you, they will reach you through hell and high water.
Yes.
You could be in the bath, in the shower, it doesn't matter. They will reach out and they'll touch you. And that is such a joy to know that every single moment of every day they can be there. Okay, so let us just come together and thank them for their love, their upliftment and their companionship. Divine Spirit, all our loved ones, all the ministering angels, we thank you for the companionship and communications we have shared this morning. We ask that the joy you give us, we can now take out into the world and share with all those we meet in the coming days and weeks. Let each one of us shine some light into the darkness of someone's world, so that the work that we start in these halls, in these churches, can be continued in your name. And now, dear friend, we hand this energy back into your care until we meet again. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Elaine, thank you so much. Apologies for the absenteeism. Keep hearing within spiritualism, so many people say, oh, spirit work changed the way they work with us. Sorry, forget that. Stop it. We change. So naturally, as we change, so do our connections.
And we've got to stop using a mindset to limit them, haven't we, darling?
Well, it's always at a distance.
Yeah, we're old muckers, him and I, because we used to sit in Margaret Claughton's circle many, many years ago.
You wouldn't have argued with her.
No, you didn't. 3 strikes and you're out, that's what she used to say.
And never wear black.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, we realise as we grow that we limit spirit. There is no limit to them and how they want to talk to us, communicate through us, even just have fun with us.
Oh, yeah.
We put the blocks up, oh, it must be this way. And as you said about evidential mediumship, we have to provide some evidence, because how otherwise would you recognise them if we don't give you some personal details, passing conditions, names, addresses, careers? But that isn't meant to be the be-all and end-all. What we want to do is connect you with the sheer joy that they hear once more, isn't it?
Exactly right. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Big hearing.
Yes, something nice. I like ginger, anything with ginger in it. Hello, my name's Elaine. Thank you for coming today. I was so aware that there was a female energy around you wanting to speak to you, and I just ran out of time and attention. But the other thing is, it's more to say what they want you to do, because you have